My dad is Wei Kong Peng, a pharmacist at Rite Aid.
My dad is Joe Ginder, pastor of Long Beach Friends.
I wanted to share a little bit about who my dad is. Actually, it would be my grandfather who I would share about. Since I was young, he was the one that raised me due to the death of my parents at a very young age.
My favorite memory of my dad is all the road trips that we would go on. When we were kids, he used to take us on cross country road trips, and when I was older, we did a lot of national park road trips, and we did one with my dad and my grandpa, which was really cool when we went to the Badlands and Mount Rushmore and a few other places.
My favorite memory of my dad is when we go to play tennis and I beat him.
My favorite memory of him is how he showed me um, to look at one's man's treasure as another person. I mean, one's man's trash as another person's treasure. And what I mean by that is that he taught me how to learn to repurpose the things that normally we would consider as trash and turn into something meaningful, purposeful, and beautiful. So my grandfather and I made a lot of things out of those things that we normally would just trash. And we did a lot of building and creating things for the backyard and for the gardening. He was very passionate about his gardening and he did it with a lot of pride and joy. So I grew up learning to do that alongside with them, and I really love gardening, and I share that joy and passion with anybody that I have a chance to talk to. He was also a basket weaver, so he loved to create things that had shapes, patterns, and that also kind of rubbed off on me. And I like creating things that has a lot of that involved in it as well. So he was a man that had a lot of creativity, and his creativity was endless.
A life lesson I've learned from him is money is useless if you can't be happy.
What he taught me is the meaning of overcoming adversity through not giving up and through pushing forward. He always reminded me, when you feel down or you feel like life is throwing you a curveball, um, figure a way to find joy and to find peace through those circumstances, and also just to not never give up. My grandfather was part of the group of war refugees that came to the States. And so he went through a lot of struggles and injustice, but despite it all, he was able to show love for his family and to those around him. So he really taught me the meaning of not giving up and showing love despite, how you're feeling and what you're going through.
One life lesson that my dad taught me growing up, he would teach us about being a peacemaker and loving each other.
My grandfather loved to take long walks. And when he does take long walks, like I mentioned at the very beginning about my favorite memory of him, is that he loves to bring things back that he found, and would always get the kids, the grandkids together to figure out, okay, how can we make something nice out of this piece of material? So those were some of the things that I always remember about his hobbies, that he never gave up on his walking. And, when he passed away, he was in his mid to late 90s. And I can still remember he was probably no more than 125 pounds when he passed away, because he was so fit, and he always continued to like walk all to the very bitter end. And he always made sure that if his grandkids wanted to go for a walk with them, he always took them on a walk, and he always let them know how important it is to take care of your health, and always make sure that you're doing your body good, putting things into your body and taking good care of your body, because your body is very important to making sure that you can continue day to day.
My dad's favorite hobbies are going hiking and taking pictures of flowers, as everybody should know by now.
His favorite thing to do is read stock books.
I never knew that he was scared of birds, and birds that fly very close by. So, um, and when I realized about that was when John and I had took him to the LA Zoo, and we were in this bird exhibit, and the birds were flying, and we really got close to him, and I can feel him ducking and going behind me and holding on to me, shaking so hard. And I looked at his face, and I was telling John, we got to get him out of here because his fear was so real. And he's like, get me out, get me out. We had to rush and get him out because he needed to use the bathroom so bad. I remember that day so vividly. And that day, he was like, don't ever take me to that exhibit again. I'll go to any exhibit. Don't take me to the bird exhibit because that scared so much out of him. And he still remember that moment. And he'll always tell me, don't take me there anymore, Lair. Not that place.
One thing he's scared of is losing his stock.
Not getting any presents for his birthday.
To me, he was a person that would find peace and able to find way of relaxing even when things were really tough for him. And the reason why I say that is he had to care for his wife for 2 years who had cancer, and he never complained about it, and he did it with calmness and collectiveness through the whole process. I've never heard him raise his voice or said, I'm tired, I need rest. Never those moments for those 2 years that he cared for his wife completely. And he was a medicine man back in his country. So when he came to the United States, his community, the people in his community back in Cambodia still remembered him. So they would, randomly knock on our door and come, to ask for his help. And so he would give them advice, and he would sit down and say, well, what's your ailment? And he would then, suggest certain herbal medicines to help them with their ailment. And he did it, he never said no to them, and he did it willingly, helping them, and he did it with a very loving heart. And that I will always remember. He was such a giving person and gave it with a purity of his heart.
One quality I would take from him is his intelligence.
There are several qualities that I wish I could take away from my dad. And one of them would be speaking and teaching, his ability to solve problems and figure things out, even when it's tough, and just the faith that he had in moving to California without really knowing anyone here, and taking that leap of faith.
I know I shared about my grandfather and how he means, to me, but I also wanted to acknowledge those fathers who are spiritual fathers to me, who had helped me along the way, gave me encouragements, and taught me a lot of things throughout life that I also wanted to acknowledge. And I'm not going to name names, but I just also wanted to say spiritual fathers are also to be acknowledged on this day. And all the fathers out there, I also wanted to acknowledge all of you for who you are to, to your children, to your spouse, to your extended families and friends. We thank you for you today. And I also wanted to leave a little blessing for all of the fathers out there. And that blessing is from the book of Numbers. And all of us have probably heard it, but I just like to give that blessings in general to all the fathers today. And that blessing is, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. Happy Father's Day to all.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you for everything. We love you.
We love you.
Kiss, kiss.
Happy Father's Day, Daddy.
Thank you, Daddy, for being such a great dad.
Thank you, Daddy.
We all love you.
We all love you.
Happy Father's Day, Daddy. Thank you for always being there for me. Happy Father's Day. I love you. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, Daddy. Thank you for working hard and taking care of us. We love you.
Congratulations, class of 2020. I know that this is not like any other year that you've ever experienced a graduation, but know that it is still the same accomplishment. It is still a great thing, and you've put in a lot of work. We know that graduating from high school or above is definitely a challenge, and while some people have more of a challenge than others, it is still a great accomplishment. We are sad that you aren't able to celebrate it the way that you normally would, but know that we are trying our best to still recognize your hard work, your dedication, and all that you've put in to reach this time. We know that as you move on from here, your journey
is definitely different than it has been in the past, and you are facing challenges that others may not have had to face. But even so, you're resilient, you'll adapt, and we're here to support you, your family, Christ family. And so as you move on from here, know that you have the support of many who have gone before you and the support of those who come after, and that they will look up to you and see how it is that you manage to strive and struggle through this time of turmoil, of change, of things that are hard to understand. So many things going on in the news that you may not completely understand why they're going on, or it may make you feel anxious, or it may make you wonder why people are protesting, why others are looting, why people are not wearing masks or wearing masks, why others feel that they need to be at home more or not. If they disagree with needing to shelter in place or be in quarantine. Regardless of how you feel about it, you are the future. You will make change and you will shape it. And so with that, we pray that you have all that you need to do what glorifies the Lord and what brings you inner satisfaction, inner peace, and fulfills your purpose in the Lord. With that, I want to personally mention my son, Matthew, as he graduates from UC Irvine. It's been a great accomplishment. We're so proud of you, Matt, and Dad, Ashley, and I know that it was no small feat, and that you put in a lot of hard work, and that you were able to go the distance. We wish you all the best. We pray for the Lord to guide you through this time, and we know that you will do great things. So again, class of 2020, it is a number of significance for many reasons. This date will be etched in your mind forever. You will never forget it. May you remember it for all the good things and all the support you had of family and friends that are like family, and family that are like friends. Again, we wish you the best, and we're there to support you along the way. Congratulations. Now go and enjoy.